Gilmore gang, 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 assemble. Very much appreciated all the love in me coming back to this platform. Anyway, I wanted to try and keep the pace up and hit you with another upload. This episode was jarring to my very core. Can someone tell me if Dean has been sent to this earth to annoy the f*** out of me? Anyway, without further ado, let's just get straight onto the messy recap. If you're out on the road. A charity rummage sale in Stars Hollow has Lorelai miraculously pulling up an old relic of Luke's girlfriend from the rummage, which belongs to Luke's ex-girlfriend Rachel, and though Lorelai has claimed to not want that man, she cannot help but Lorelai and be jealous. Luke out of nowhere goes apoplectic at the fact that Lorelai is wearing this relic. The Chilton girlies get assigned a project at school and end up working in Lorelai's very messy house. The ghetto! Suki gets tickets to see the Bangles in New York and invites the Gilmore girls and Lane, but Mrs. Kim ain't having any of it, and Lorelai invites the undeserving Chilton girls to go instead. Did she consult Suki? I guess we'll never know. The Gilmore girls actually managed to leave Stars Hollow and go to the concert, and everyone is having a great time apart from the ungrateful basics Madeline and Louise, who follow these below average guys to a frat party in the middle of New York and deem it acceptable behaviour. Lorelai schools them. Luke apologises for his earlier mental outburst, and all is forgiven because we stand Luke around here.
And that's what you missed on
Gilmore Girls.
Guess who's back? Back again.
My literal worst nightmare arch nemesis, Dean. I was almost thinking that maybe the writers had forgotten about Dean. Further down the line, one of the characters would just say a tornado hit Stars Hollow and took Dean with it. People did mourn him. I'm not that savage. Anyway, he is very much here. So he's at the Gilmore girls' house eating a meal that Lorelai has not cooked, Kel's surprise, and they are watching a woman on TV called Donna Reed. So the Gilmore girls are sending it up and laughing at how domesticated and ultimately trad wife Donna Reed was. But honestly, man, woman, child, dog, goat, pig, a home-cooked meal in this household would not go amiss.
Well, you know, families hanging together. I mean, a wife cooking dinner for her husband. And look, she seems really happy.
Yeah, maybe some women do love cooking for their husbands and their families, but ultimately, Dean, shut up. The Gilmore girls look justifiably confused, and the pizza just looks real sad. If someone is going to put me off my pizza, they can leave the house. And if that someone is Dean, he need not ever come back. So we're at Luke's diner, and Lorelai starts berating Luke about sprucing up the place. And of course, Taylor is a man who cannot and will not mind his business, so he chimes in and comments that he's been trying to get Luke to freshen up the diner for years. So Lorelai offers to help Luke to freshen up the diner, and it's like, why? This woman has so many jobs. She is a mother, she runs an inn, she's apparently studying for some business qualification. How have you got the time to be painting other people's places? Maybe cook a meal or tidy up your own house.
shame.
Anyway, I'll tell you why she has the time, because she wants that man. Anyway, because Luke is in love with Lorelai, he agrees. And correct.
Well, I didn't really want to be here, so I was made to be here. So obviously I'm just like wanting to get this over with and get on with my life.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Friday night dinner. It feels like a million years ago that we were graced with Emily Gilmore's acerbic wit and insightful and shady comments towards Lorelai. I couldn't be more thrilled. So Richard is vexed because Emily forgot to inquire about their usual house rental in Martha's Vineyard, where they love to vacate in the spring. And honestly, just give me that Gilmore money. I know it is crass. Capitalism is gross. I need Emily Gilmore's life immediately, if not sooner. I was not put on this earth to suffer. Seriously. Anyway, the Gilmore girls suggest that the grandparents could try going to Paris and that it's lovely in the spring. But Richard and Emily explained that it costs too much to travel to Europe in the spring. And honestly, facts. Again, if there is a God, please burden me with these problems. This camera angle. Every now and again, the camera people on the show get real creative and suddenly we're in a Charlie Coffin movie.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Babette! I missed this broad. So Babette's Maury has a gig, love that for him, and Babette needs someone to cat sit their new baby kitten, Apricot. Oh, R.I.P. Cinnamon. So Rory offers to look after the cat, and for some weird reason, Lorelai gets offended, and it is yet again giving codependence. Lorelai is offended that her teenage daughter is going next door for the evening to look after a kitten. This woman needs
F-R-I-N-D-A.
Get a grip. So Creepy Dean is waiting at the bus stop for Rory to get back from school because apparently he has absolutely nothing else to do with his life. What's new there?
Hi, I didn't expect to see you here.
Says every person to their stalker. I still cannot quite stomach the sight of the two of them kissing. I know it's a me problem. I need to get over it. There's just something about it just... I'm just going to need a trigger warning next time, okay?
Homework.
Roy.
We will be cohabitating for the next month so I can examine its every move.
Why is she acting like she brought a pet bird home from primary school? That's elementary school to you Americans. Anyway, Rory invites Dean over for some company while she's going to be cat sitting. And Dean uses that as an opportunity to be sour about the fact that Rory wasn't keen on being a 50s housewife. Cal, surprise. And then comes the gaslighting, which even Rory clocks.
Lots of oppressed housewives shopping for their husband's dinner.
Wow,
What?
that was a little pointed.
What are you talking about?
Run, Rory, run. This man ain't it. What about this guy? Or this guy? Literally anyone else but Dean. So he wants a trad wife. And I definitely called that in a previous episode. Anyway, I'll get off the Dean hate train for now. So Lorelai is still doing some designing at Luke's place because she's in love with him but won't admit it. Rory comes home and is obviously still reeling from her horrendous encounter with Dean, but doesn't seem very quick to share it with Lorelai, who's her best friend. Rory knows that Lorelai has clocked that Dean ain't
Guess who's back? Back again.
Kirk, I guess. Kirk cannot believe that Luke is finally going to be making some changes to the diner, and they've obviously put some sort of bet on, and now it's been proven that he's making these changes, so he has to cough up the money that he owes Taylor. I guess he didn't bet on Luke's obsession with Lorelai. Side note, the colours that Lorelai sticks on the wall here are ugly as sin. Rory is wearing this. It honestly reminded me of the ugly clothes from the Sims 4 Nifty Knitting Pack. Yes, that is a very niche reference, but if you know, you know. Where did she even buy something this ugly? So Lorelai is flirting with Luke while they consult on paints, and Lorelai picks the paint and Luke's basically like,
I love it.
So whilst Luke is aimlessly flirting with a woman who could not give him what I could, a photographer comes in and snaps a picture of them, I guess, again, because they can't believe that Luke is going to make changes to the diner.
You know, this place hadn't been painted since my dad was alive. He really loved this place.
Oh, he is so sensitive, strong, hot, and can cook. Of course, Lorelai has to make it all about her when he's sharing the story about his dad. And she's like, you're so lucky that you could work somewhere that your dad worked. And it's like, girl, his dad is dead. Can he have a minute of mourning before making it about you? So Luke says there's actually a spot in the diner where his dad wrote something, I don't know, about nails, hammers, I don't know, some hardware graffiti, I guess, on the wall. They find the spot, they're drinking beer together, and it's the perfect time to kiss. Do they kiss? Do they fuck? They don't do that either. They instead get interrupted by seemingly everybody in the town who are clambering to get a view of Luke's transformation of the diner. This scene is hot, I cannot lie. I'm just going to adjust it just a little bit. There. Fixed it. Lorelai breaks the spell and leaves Luke with which I can only imagine is a massive...
Guess who's back? Back again.
I'll go Lane. Okay, firstly, the fact that Lane keeps her CDs under the floorboards makes her probably the coolest person in Stars Hollow. Rory borrows the CD from Lane and doesn't even explain to her friend what it's for or anything. And obviously Lane is an angel, so she's like, go ahead, girl, do you. So Lorelai arrives back home and the pet bird that Rory's supposed to be looking after for school is missing. Writers, did y'all call the bird Stella for this? Go off, I guess. What in the trad wife fresh hell is this? So Rory looks insane and Babette's house looks like a home fight waiting to happen. So Rory has set up Babette's house like the house in Donna Reed, I guess to prove a point to Dean. But what point, pray tell? Also, I stand by my comments that I made in an earlier video. Dean's too tall. So Lorelai and Luke are still having trouble finding Stella the bird, although Lorelai is lounging about on the sofa while Luke is actually the one that's doing all the hard work. Of course, Dean loves the steak dinner that Rory has prepared because he is pure incel vibes.
I hope you know that I don't expect you to be Donna Reed. And I don't want you to be Donna Reed. That's not what I meant. This just totally got blown out of proportion. I'm actually pretty happy with you.
But do we actually believe him though? I still cannot handle them kissing. I'm sorry, but no. Again, I ask, what do these two talk about of an evening? Hurrah, the bird is found. And Luke carries on being adorable and even carries out Lorelai's trash. On the way out, there's this greatly timed scene where Luke and Dean meet and they are both doing things for the woman they are obsessed with. And it is pretty awkward. And then the ladies come out and Luke puffs out his chest and does that overprotective stepdaddy thing that we've all grown to love and haven't seen for a long time.
What are you doing here?
Nice meeting you here.
Yeah.
I'm just scoot on over and let you whack him. Get him again. Get him for me.
When the ladies come out, it's obviously even more awkward because Rory is dressed like this.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Michelle, finally. So Michelle is chasing Suki round the kitchen because he is vexed because Suki will not make him an egg white omelette. He's watching his figure and she's like, that's your business. I'm a chef. This is what I do. And I've made you a 3-egg omelette with all the works. Honestly, I would rather watch these two argue over something stupid than watch Lorelai being annoying any day of the week.
Who wants to hear about my night?
Literally no one. So Lorelai fills Suki in on last night's escapades and she's like, yeah, it's weird because Luke didn't actually think that I had a missing chick. And Suki calls it. She's like, Luke would have thought it was some sort of euphemism or at least you were making an excuse for him to come over. Now, I don't get the euphemism bit, but it was given you just wanted him to come over. But then Suki ruins it because she mentions that she did a similar thing just before her and Jackson had sex and I automatically had to tap out. Anyway, Lorelai denies all charges. And sorry, but who is this waiter that keeps coming in and out of the kitchen? Are we going to be seeing him again? Because Lorelai throws a tantrum at the mere suggestion that she may have been using the kitten as a ploy to get Luke round. And Suki's like, girl, you could do worse. Luke is great, which is something that I've been trying to say the whole time, which obviously, ultimately, Lorelai knows because she has eyes. So it's Friday night dinner again. Emily and Richard are having an argument and freaking out because they still don't know whether they're going to be able to get a rental at Martha's Vineyard. So they're talking to some guy on the phone and he cannot cope with them arguing. And he basically concedes that they could just have what they want. And it turns out they were just acting. Applause all round, take bows because you had me fooled. And then this.
But this afternoon we found out that Arthur Roundtree had died.
He'd been drinking.
So we got on the phone and snatched that place up.
The cackle I cackled and the howl I howled.
I love it.
So Lorelai accidentally puts her foot in it by mentioning that Rory was wearing an apron. And Emily's like, why were you wearing an apron? And then Rory puts her foot in it by mentioning how Lorelai had to look for a bird and Luke helped her with it. And honestly, Emily Gilmore misses nothing.
We see each other. We see each other.
And she straight up asked Lorelai if she's into Luke. And Lorelai is finally forced to address the elephant in the room. And it's wild because Suki couldn't even get it out of her. But
I don't know. Maybe I do. I haven't given it that much thought. Maybe I do. Thank you.
took you 14 episodes.
What on earth you could possibly be thinking?
Emily! She just doesn't know Luke like we do. Once she gets to know him, I don't know actually. Back in Stars Hollow, and this busker is putting in some overtime, and it's looking like Lorelai's actually going to be giving Luke a chance. When who pulls up on a motorbike? Rory's deadbeat dad, Christopher. I'm calling him a deadbeat now because it's been 14 episodes and he's been mentioned, but I have not seen his face. So where is he? Where was he on the first day of Chiltern? Where was he at her birthday party? Where was he when she went to her dance? He also immediately undermines Lorelai, insisting that Rory gets on the back of his motorbike. I just know this spells trouble. If you're out on the road. Okay, I don't even know where to put Rory this episode because she started off trying to have a feminist argument with Dean, but then it all seemed to crumble, so down she goes. Lorelai spent the episode acting like her and Luke were in a relationship and then denied her feelings, but now seems to finally be acknowledging them, so up she goes, I guess. Luke, angel of a man, useful, helpful, hot, up. Dean, a disaster, still can't keep the bass out of his voice and he's still annoying as hell and too tall, down. Richard Gilmore, hysterical, pompous, stuck up. Emily, a dream, although didn't like her last comment about Luke, so she comes down a little. Christopher starts from the bottom. He was in it for 2 seconds. So no. And that's it for another week in Stars Hollow. A little bit of this episode felt filler. I still kind of enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week for some more shenanigans. Okay, bye.